What's up, guys? nethervvoid here with more World of Tanks tank guides for you. And as you can see, I'm doing the 4502A, the VK4502A today. Tier 8 German tank. Heavy. If you look at the tech tree here, it's, no, that's not right. I was already on the correct tech tree. It's right here going up to Tiger P, 4502A, then B, and then the mouse. When it used to be Tiger 1, 2, E75 mouse. Or, I'm sorry, Tiger 1, 2, 4502B mouse. That was the old line. So anyway, this tank is a heavy tank, but it's kind of like a heavy medium hybrid. You know how sometimes I talk about that. And this is definitely one of those kinds of tanks because it has a pretty heavy turret, but it's got also pretty good mobility. It's got kind of weak front armor, and so you don't play it like a heavy. I kind of play it a little bit like a medium. But the main thing to know is I snipe a lot with this tank, and that's because if you look at the short 10 here, which is unfortunate that it's only the short 10, 2.3 aim time, not real great, 0.37 accuracy, again, decent. This is actually a little bit better. We're going to talk about the differences in the guns in a second here. But it's got a pretty good gun. It feels very accurate to me. You're going to see in one of the replays I'm going to show you that it seems like a pretty accurate gun, accurate enough to be a sniper with. And that's kind of how I play this tank a little bit. It's definitely, in my opinion, well, again, in my opinion, it's a support tank. It's not really a frontliner. It's kind of a flanker and damage dealer. The gun is not that great for damage because the reload time is pretty slow with the top gun at under 6 rounds per minute, which seems ridiculously slow for this tank. That doesn't seem very fair. It doesn't even get the long 10.5 like the Tiger 2 does, and the reload rate is garbage pretty much. So what you're going to want to do is try to flank with this thing, try to get in some good sniper positions. Basically stay hull down because your turret's the only thing with any kind of armor on it, so try to use the little bit of hills and stuff that you find, which I'm going to show you in one of the replays as well. And then when you see openings, kind of take advantage of those openings. Also, if you are having to dogfight heavies, you will be more mobile than they will, so you should be able to outmaneuver them, so try to do that as well. Remember, this thing is made of butter from the hull down, so just treat it like that. Treat it like a medium. You're not going to be sitting out there taking shots to the face because you're going to get killed, and you're going to get killed quickly. And that's why a lot of people don't like this tank, or basically because they don't know how to play it. They play it like the Tiger 2, which is very beefy tank. You can get in people's faces. It gets a lot of bounces. Angle the Tiger 2 armor, and you're almost impenetrable, stuff like that, unless somebody's whipping out gold. But this tank is not like that. If you just know ahead of time the armor from here down is unreliable, then you will probably play this tank a lot differently and have a lot better time with it. So that's kind of how I play this tank. Let's get a little bit into the stats here. 1,570 hit points, pretty standard. It's not really any different than other tanks, I guess. Power to weight ratio, pretty bad in this tank. Again, it's a heavy, but it's really not that great. It looks like it's about 16 to 17 to 1. It's not, again, not horrible. I think it's 16. Actually, that might be 15 to 1. Let me just quickly whip the calculator out for this one because it's kind of an odd calculation. So we got what? 840 divided by 57.8. Oh, 14.5 power to 1, or power to weight ratio. So not that great. A little bit better, I think, than some heavies, but it's definitely better than most of the German heavies. The German heavies are really slow usually. So if you look at the speed limit, 38, maybe downhill. Traverse, not very good at all at 50. What is that? 53. That's horrible. So again, it actually has a heavy traverse too. This tank is really hard to play and not a lot of fun unless you have a good team. If your team is going to crumble, you're going to die because you're definitely not carrying this tank. If you're top tier, maybe, but it's not that great. And to me, there's a problem in this game with German tanks being underpowered. The only tank that's I feel is really good, there's two actually. The E75 is an obvious front runner in the tier 9 area, and the Tiger 2. Those tanks, the Tiger 2 is probably about a little higher than middle of the pack. But all the other German tanks, they're not bad, but they're finesse tanks. Like the Tiger one, you're not steamrolling out there. You know, you're not doing hold down T-29 tricks on people and stuff. You're sniping. If you're sniping in a heavy tank, it means the tank is not very good. Tanks that have to snipe are not good tanks, or they're TDs, and they don't have traversing turrets and different things like that. They have no mobility or something. So I just think that the German tanks are just really weak compared to what they were in the war. They were not this weak, you know. I think it's because a lot of these high pen guns and stuff that you see later in the game were not even World War II tanks. So it's like you're getting shot at by tanks that are way, way more advanced after World War II tank mechanics. Again, that's my opinion. It's not like the developers have stated it, but it just seems like German tanks are weaker compared to Russian tanks. And when you play a lot of the different nations like I do, the way I notice that is when I feel like I can drive, like the T-54, I don't have to be very careful. I can just drive it crazy kind of. And the IS-3, I can be a little bit crazy with it. And that's because it's very strong compared to its competitors. When you feel like it's weak and you have to take your time and have patience and be all super cautious and do everything just perfect or you die, that's because your tank is weak. If your tank is really strong, you just drive out there like a Rambo, right? So that is a general indicator on how strong that tank is for its tier. A lot of that does have to do with how you play the tank as well, but in general, that's how it works pretty much in any game that you play. So again, we already talked about this crap armor. The sides are obviously crap, 80, 80, 80, 80. That's pretty standard for German heavies. The turret is decent at 185 in the front, but it's very flat right here. It's got slight angle here, but this is about a 200 pen. It can go right through that thing. I'm reading a 180 off this little armor picture that I've got, but I think it's probably about 200 because that's not one. If it's 185 and it's at an angle, it's more than 180. So I think it's about 200. Which is not that much. This gun's a 200 pen gun. The Tiger II has a 225 pen gun. That means I can shoot right through the front turret on this thing. That's weak, man. That's not a good turret. But anyway, that's why you want to be kind of hull down, because the hull at 120, even at this angle, I'm reading off this armor thing right here, it's either 170 or 190 or something like that. So again, the Tiger II, or I mean, yeah, the Tiger IIs can shoot right through the top plate here if it's at 0. If it's angled, you're probably going to get bounced because it goes up to like 203 at 45 degrees like this. So this is probably like a 190 to 2 something. And the lower plate is really easy. That's kind of a weak spot. You can shoot right through that. Why are we talking about that? Oh, I was talking about the armor. Okay, so we're kind of talking about weak spots a little early, but that's okay. Rate of fire, really low. I wish it was higher, especially since this is more of a DPM tank, not so much a straight-up heavy brawler. 390 view range, pretty standard, but good, but pretty standard. 710 radio. There's almost no point to talk about radios. Let's talk about modules. I'm skipping radios from now on because they're all the same pretty much. You do get 3 degrees per second turret or track traverse on the upgrade there. That's because 25 is abysmal, man. But you're going to need those also to start putting more modules on the tank. Unlike Russian heavy tanks, who don't need suspension until the very end, because you can tell me why. Almost all Germans have to get the tracks before they do anything else. That's to make it a pain, I think. But so you will not have this engine. It's been a long time since I got this tank. I'm looking for the there's the Tiger P. So you'll have the mid-grade engine here, 670, which is going to give you more like 12 to 10. Actually, it's like 12 power to weight ratio. This thing's gonna be a slug until you get that higher engine there. Now the stock to the upgraded turret is huge. A lot of people skip this to get the better guns, but the original turret is so crappy. If you see a guy the turret looks like this, shoot it anywhere, it's gonna go right through. This has no armor on it. These were the prototype turrets. They were going to use these for Tiger II. This actually, once they made about 100 of them, they canceled this turret because it was crap, and Hitler or somebody wanted a better turret than this. Some of them, the early models, did see that turret, but everything else later got this heavier turret, Tiger II, and this tank as well. I don't think this tank was in the war, but I'm not sure. I know the Tiger II was, but I'm not sure about this tank. So definitely get that as soon as you can, because it really does change the tank. At least you can get some bounces with this upper turret, but you're going to get none with this one. In fact, when I see a guy with the lower turret, it's a laugh. I'm going to take him out every time. Guns, you're going to have this long 88 when you first start, because it's on the Tiger P right there. You can see it. I wonder if the Tiger P, I don't think it gets the short 10. And arguably, you're going to want to keep this long 88 gun, okay? The damage is about the same. The DPM is about the same, because if you look at rounds per minute, in fact, I have my trusty calculator up right now. I closed it. That's okay. Let's do rounds per minute here. Let's do 7.79 rounds, right? Times 240 damage. So the long 88 is going to get you 1869, or basically 1870 DPM. Versus the top gun, which I'm not really sure why it's so crap, 1900. So it's like a slight DPM increase, and the penetration's relatively the same. The difference here, though, is the shells on this tank, on this gun, are 250 credits apiece. The shells on the top gun are 1,000. Okay, so that's the difference there. It just costs you a lot more. Personally, I kind of like this gun just because it has a higher alpha. A lot of times, especially in higher tier games, the tanks are dying so fast that you might only get one shot off on the guy, or he's driving in between buildings. And so I like to have the higher DPM, or the higher damage alpha, the higher alpha gun. Also, I feel like I'm loaded in this tank very often. I would probably be more apt to use the long 88 if my gun was on reload all the time, which it's generally not, especially in tier 10 games. I'm usually waiting around a lot. So those are the guns. Let's talk about the research real quick, and then we'll be back for more in this garage. So here we are on the 4502A tech tree. And what you're going to have to get first is these tracks. You can't do anything without the tracks. I mean, look, they give you no room to move here. No leeway at all. About 0.5, 0.6 max. And even, well, I guess let's look at this. You're going to put this engine on, right? 720. What's this one? 670. So that's going to eat up, oh, not that much. So, okay, I changed my mind. You can get this engine first, and then you can get the tracks, because the engine's going to help you a lot with mobility. So just get it first. It's a really huge grind. That's the highest grind on this whole tank. That's again, it just feels like the Germans get slapped around a lot. Why is this so high? Because they know you need it? I don't know. So get that engine first, then get the tracks, because after that you can get the turret. Get the turret before you get any other guns. You already have this. Just throw this on there. Remember, like I said, it's almost the same exact gun, except this is cheaper. So get that turret on there so you can at least go hold down, then unlock the biggest gun. And I like the biggest gun, like I told you, because it's better alpha. After that, you can unlock the 4502B, and that's it. That's the whole tech tree. So we're back from research, and one thing I did skip is weak spots. And sometimes it screws with me because I only do them on tier 8 and above tanks. So actually tier 7 and above? Now I'm even losing it. I think I do tier 7 and above. So anyway, kind of already talked about it a little bit. This front plate is pretty weak. If you have like a 200 pin gun, you're going to go right through it pretty much. If it's highly angled, you might get a bounce, but generally it's pretty cool to shoot right at the front plate. The weak spot here is the machine gun port. The driver view port is also weak if you're really close. Lower front plate is obviously weak. And then if you have a 200, like 25 and up pen gun, you can go right through the turret, so it's not even that big a deal. Cupola, obviously a weakness on every tank pretty much. Side armor, non-existent, so it doesn't really matter. The loader is right through here if you want to just shoot this. That's pretty easy. Hold on a second. So those are the weak spots, and let's talk about some equipment now. This is pretty standard, especially if you've watched a lot of my guides. Vents makes your whole crew better, adds 5% to their crew skill, so everything they do is better. Shooting, aiming, accuracy, traverse, everything. View ranges, you have to get this. The only time you shouldn't get it is if you have an open cockpit or whatever it is, open turret. Rammer, duh, makes you shoot faster and hit, more shots, okay? Get it. Vert stab, again, awesome, especially since you're going to be doing lots of pop up and down and, back and forth and stuff, moving all over the place. This helps your aim time, helps you get your gun on target and shoot at the bad guys, so definitely get that too. It's better than the than the laying drive, because the laying drive you have to stop for it to actually take effect. The vert stab will tighten up that bloom when you're on the move, so that's why you want the vert stab. So that's the equipment. Pretty much a no-brainer. There's really nothing else, in my opinion, I would put in there instead of these. Full rack of consumables. It's kind of obvious. Tier 7 and above, I do this. It's nice to get your, you lose your engine, you need to repair it. You lose your driver, you need to get him back in the game. Again, ammo, 4 HE, the rest AP. That's pretty standard for me too. The HE is just to reset the cap if you need to. So that's pretty much all standard down here. The crew, again, for right now, it's looking pretty standard for me. I go Brothers in Arms first. Well, what I do is I put Mentor and All Repair on there because those are active while they're not 100%, unlike Perks, which must be at 100% to be active. Then once I get the first to 100%, I can drop it and get 100%. And what I'll do to drop is say personnel file drop, and I just do it for credits. Once that says 1 times 100%, then I will drop the first set of skills here and pick up Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms, in my opinion, is probably the skill set to get because it adds another 2.2 or 2.5% on top of your vent to all your crew skills. So again, faster aim times, better accuracy. It's really a must, in my opinion. There's been some studies, some research done on the Watt forums about this skill, and it's the best. The only thing that does suck is you can't get Sixth Sense if you do this, because Brothers in Arms requires your whole crew to have it. So then I switch back to Mentor and All Repair. And Mentor is because it speeds up the training of my whole crew. So what happens, like when I get elite status on this tank, is these guys are already getting an extra 10%, and all the additional XP is going on my commander, so it keeps him up to speed with everybody else. And then what I'll do when this thing goes up to, when I get 100% here, is I'll again start Mentor and Repair for the third set of crew skills, and I'll pick up Sixth Sense here. What am I going to do? For Gunner, I'll pick up Snapshot. That gives me a little bit more Vert Stab in a sense. It's kind of like a mini Vert Stab at negative 7.5% gun dispersion. That helps me with snapshotting. That's the name of the skill. But you basically play pop out a lot in these tanks, so you're going to want the fastest aim time possible, really. For the driver, I'm going to get clutch braking because the traverse on this tank is really horrible, especially since you're going to be using it more like medium style, where you're flanking and you're trying to go all over the map and stuff like that. You're going to need that clutch braking. Radio operator, I'm going to get the one that gives you, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I can't even see it from here. It's basically the one that gives you more view range, and I'm going to go check it out real quick. Shouldn't take long. This is the only one I forget what it's called usually. It is called, no, that's wrong. That's not what it's called. It is called, hold on, situational awareness. The reason why I don't really know it is because, it's 3%. It's not a huge deal. It's pretty tiny. For loader, I always get safe stowage. That adds 12.5% to your ammo rack hit points, and that really helps because this tank gets racked pretty easily just because there's ammo in the turret, so it's kind of easy to get your ammo rack hit. So that's what I get. It's not active to 100%. That's why I switch it out at the second skill here. And that's pretty much how I do it. Oh, also what you need to know about this tank is a lot like all the other German tanks. Getting hit through the front, the transmission's in the front, so apparently that makes it catch fire, and the engine catches fire, which slows this whole tank down. The crap thing about this German situation is that the engine pieces run the entirety of the tank pretty much. The engine's back here, and there's a bunch of stuff for the transmission all the way up until there's a big block of transmission in the front. And so it's like your engine's always out. I kind of feel like for game balance, they should change that. There are lots of things in this game that are not historically accurate, and so that should be one of them, because the German tanks are already not very good, and so to handicap them with engines mounted in the front, in a sense, is just ridiculous. It's retarded. It should just not even be that way. So anyway, that's this tank. I'm going to get into a couple games and show you my strategy in action, so hold on a second. So here's the first out of 2 games I wanted to show you. This is a Tier 8 game on Kampanovka, and I was just looking, both these games just came out of the cooker. I just had them. What I noticed is they're both on Kampanovka. I don't know what it is with this map today, but it's like Kampanovka Day or something. This is the first map they ever created. Correct me if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first map that they ever made. Still in heavy rotation, and a lot of that is because a nice hit on the Chafee right there. Get that scout out of dodge, man. Nice hit on him. This is one of the devs, like, babies. He loves this map. He wants to keep it in. I remember when there was, like, petitions to get rid of this map. It was that bad. It's not so bad now. I don't know why it's not so bad. I guess because I think it's Artie. I think Artie was like killing this map because there are not a lot of places to hide from Artie on this map. Now that Artie's not as big of a deal, there's really only ever 1 or 2 per side, I would say. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's actually quite a bit of fun. I actually have a lot of fun on this map now. I think it was redone as well. I want to say it was redone, but maybe not. So anyway, I'm just kicking back here. What I did was I was going to go up the hill, but I'm not going to go up by myself. That's suicide. Do not go up the hill by yourself. That's pretty much for any map you're on. Don't go one way by yourself. I used to say to do that, like in the Tiger 2 video, which was like my second guide ever. I hold a whole side by myself. First of all, I'm in the Tiger 2. Second of all, that was before gold credits. You could buy gold rounds with credits, so nobody had gold rounds. That means, and there were no super high pen gun tanks, which means that you could actually put a heavy on one side that was good at what he was doing, and with kind of not great enemies, you could hold off like 5 guys at once. You know, just getting bounce after bounce because you had your tank set up in a certain way to defend and push people or hold people back. You can't really do that anymore, so I don't do it. People just whip out their gold rounds and kill you. They don't really, the game doesn't really reward people who know how to angle their armor and stuff. It's mainly about knowing the map now. Like, I'm going to come down in here. This is a great spot to sit. I'm noticing that the action doesn't really seem to be on the hill, and we've seen lots of people light up outside of the hill. And so it's nice to get down in these little gullies right here, these little undulations right here, and you get some nice hold down action here. So I'm trying to snipe these guys from pretty far back. How many meters is that? 500 meters. This gun will hit those guys pretty good at 500 meters. IS-3, 359 damage. So, I probably could have got another hit on that guy if I had the long 88. Now, I thought this guy's back was sitting toward me, but really what it is look, he's angled down a little bit. I probably could have hit him in that front cheek with him angled down. The IS-6 front cheek is actually pretty heavily armored, which is weird for an IS. Usually the IS line, that side cheek, at least dead on, is not very armored. I'd be really interested to see the specs on the IS-6, because it's weird that it's the only tank that has strong cheek armor. That just seems weird to me. None of the other IS line has a strong cheek armor, including the IS-7. If you hit it at 0 degrees, it's pretty easy to pen. So I don't know how the IS-6 all of a sudden had that nice cheek armor. It couldn't be because it's Russian and it's a gold tank, could it? I don't know. So here's a Tiger 2 trying to hide, trying to snipe like me. Boom! Right in the backside, right there. 1,000 damage off 3 shells so far. Already having a... It's looking like it could be a good game. Let's get this Indian Panzer. He's in a really bad position down here. Boom! He's getting nailed. This used to be a good place to go. Well, moving up further from that, not where he is. But it used to be good to go down there. Now a lot of people go on this ridge and where I am, so it's like... There's another great hit on the Tiger 2. If I could get him out of the game, we would be really having a good time here. So I'm trying to get the back of him there. That's just barely sticking out. Nope, a miss. And then he gets lit. This is a definite hit. Right into the turret because I don't care about you. The Indian Panzer, the turret armor is not very good. Actually, the front plate is pretty decent, so shoot at the turret before you shoot at the front plate. So this guy's getting juiced, 2,300 damage. Now I'm getting hit by the KV-3 that's up on the hill. But I'm trying to get rid of this guy before I turn around here. Now I'm getting hits from across the way. And going for the turret ring, boom, side turret. Hellcat's dinging off me. So now I'm kind of worried. Okay, there's the KV-3. He's up on the hill. I'm kind of worried about that. That hill is going to cream me. Now they're already shooting at me. Trying to just get out of spot range here. Couple of hits right on the side from that KV-3. Luckily, it didn't catch my engine on fire because that'd be really horrible. I think when your fuel tanks get hit, you also slow down. Correct me if that's wrong. It's funny how there are 3 things that can slow your tank down in this game. So I guess so that you'll use consumables. The engine, the fuel tanks, the driver, and then if you're a German tank, the transmission. So technically you have 4. Here's that KV-3. So I'm pretty much barely over the horizon, and he stops right before I shoot at him, and now I'm spotted. I'm pretty sure. He's trying to back up. Let's get one shell into him. And I track him without damaging him. Very unfortunate. Curves down right there. Now I'm going to shoot, and I'm pretty sure I hit that guy. We'll see when he pops up because he had full health, right? Obviously, the mod's not going to pick that up. It picks it up in the end plate, but it doesn't pick it up from the mod. The server sends the information back, I think is why, on the end plate. So the T-20 zooming in for our Artie right here. We got him. We got an RTB to get this guy. The SU-152 turns around as well. I could get hit a couple times right here from the KV-3. It's worth it. At least I can take 1 hit, which will be for 390 probably. But we got to get this T-20. Can't let this guy flank. So I'm going to make sure I'm right on him before I... There we go. Because those shots like to fly wild. So he does get him. Oh, well, at least he's dead. That's the point. He can't flank us now, and now we're not being spotted. 2,700 damage. Pretty decent little game here. This gun is okay. I used to think it was pretty bad because it only had 200 pen, but I don't know. It seems like, especially all the newer tanks have almost no armor, so it's like not a big deal. It's funny how the KV-3 used to seem really bouncy to me, and now it's like it never bounces shots. Well, actually, I don't see them very often either, but they just don't seem to bounce shots like they used to. Even as a Tier 7 used to bounce a lot of shots. But look at that. Well, the 152, you're not going to bounce that shell. But, so that's that game. Pretty good game there. 2,700 damage. Kind of just sitting back and sniping like I was saying. Now, I was Tier 8, top tier. But that was still a decent game, getting tons of damage on people and trying to keep my my hull out of the equation there as much as I could. Let's get one more game where I'm doing a similar thing. Again, it's on the same map. I can't help that it's on the same map, but hold on a second. Here's a game on Campanovka, and I haven't shown you any games on this map in a while. Yuck, 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 yuck. Wait a minute. This is the short 88. I wonder I wasn't hitting very hard in this thing. So here we go. I'll show you the short 88. I didn't even know I had this loaded. I must have been testing it or something. But there's accuracy. I don't know why it didn't pen. Ricochet. So right here, I get pwned pretty hard. I must have been testing the tracks or something when I had this thing on. Because I'm serious, I just played this game. This is like 30 minutes old. But that's cool. Now I can show you the long 88 and the differences, because really, it's very similar, except it's cheaper. So I got hit really hard in the beginning here. This is the Tier 10 game. I really almost quit to the garage because I was just trying to get replays to show in this guide. But I thought, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. My engine is knocked out, so I'm going at just really slow. My mobility's already lost. I did fix my ammo rack at least. Where did I get hit anyway? Oh, there's the engine hit. You can see it in the back. I don't know where the ammo rack hit is. Maybe it's under the turret. I don't even know where the other hit is. It's weird. So yeah, probably in the turret ring. So I've been wanting to try this spot right here for a long time. It's a great snipe spot. You can snipe up onto the hill pretty easy. Wanted to get that Indian Panzer, but I'm exposing myself quite a bit. And again, a lot of this is to hide my hull. There we go. Nice hit on him. Again, like I said, see, especially these Tier 10 games, the guys die really fast. So having a higher alpha gun is actually better. I get a bounce from the T-54 up there on the hill. I wonder where he hit me. Probably the angled hull armor. Because remember, when it's at 45 degrees, it's a little bit better. So there we go, another hit on the T-54. See, the pen on this gun is not bad. It's a really good gun. It's nice to have this thing on the Tiger, because that's a lot of fun. Even though the Tiger really has a bad armor layout. Well, that's not really true. The Tiger came out when, you know, the M4 Sherman was the American tank, and the Soviet tank was pretty much the T-34. Two tanks that were nothing compared to the Tiger. The Tiger was a huge step forward in tank design. So even though it was really over-engineered and the Germans didn't really have the engineering to make it work right, it was definitely a huge advantage over the Allies. One of the big things about it was the fear factor. Not only, you know, yeah, sure, a lot of them broke down. The transmissions were bad. They overloaded the transmission and stuff. Yes, that definitely. But a lot of the battle can be turned just from fear factor alone. You thought a Tiger was coming, dude? You were crapping your pants. I mean, all the Allies talked about was Tiger tanks. Oh my God, Tiger tank. The shell fires traveled pretty slow right there, but I think it's because I'm almost firing at 600 meters right here. I want to say it's 600 meters, but I don't think it is. So yeah, that's a big thing, you know. The Tiger was super scary to those guys, and for good reason. You could fire at that thing with a Sherman all day long, and it would just laugh at you. Like, you're just going to bounce off of it. Even with the flat armor, you're not doing anything. There's that T-54 being all ball. Well, he's actually pretty hull down. If that could have curved a little bit higher, it would have went in the turret ring. That's okay. He's almost dead now. It's one of their best players. Well, actually, they have a lot of good players. Oh, no, they don't. They have one more left after him. Actually, they have a couple more. We actually have the worst players here. Worse rates than these guys. So as you can see, I'm trying to just have enough turret over this hilltop so that I'm not too exposed. And this is where it doesn't really help to have a quicker reload if you're not unloading your gun. Because, like, people calculate DPM like you're just firing your gun like a machine gun. Yeah, if you fire every time you're loaded, that's the DPM of the gun. But in most situations, you're not firing every time your gun's loaded, unless you have a really slow reload. Then you're trying to unload it as fast as you can, which, if you think about it in that way, sometimes a slower reload can make you have a higher DPM, because you only need to get one shot, right? And I don't know why that didn't hit. It's one of those things we're just going to have to figure out. Figure it's a random number generator issues or something. So there's a point in this game where everybody just camps for the longest time because it is a tier 10 game, and that's what people like to do in tier 10 games. Is just sit there and camp and just kind of wait for other people to roll out and get bored. There's the 120, and he is very hull down. Let's go for Cupola shot. And it was a little too hot or too low. I should have aimed a little bit higher. Maybe I could have hit him. Definitely will take a side turret shot. And he stops. I was trying to time my shot. I had been firing too late before, so I was going to fire a little bit ahead. And the freaking guy stops. Luckily, these shells are only 252 credits each. Because this is ridiculous. How many shots have I taken? A lot. I was worried I was going to run out of rounds, but the long 88 packs a lot of rounds. You can see I still have 49 rounds. So this is where it gets a little stale, I think. There's a spot where I'm just sitting in one spot. Like, I'm like reading a book, just kind of waiting for something to happen. So let's fast forward this a little bit, because it's kind of boring. Nothing's going on right here. Nobody's moving. Nobody's scouting. Everybody's playing tier 10 games. Let's do 8 speed even. So again, nothing's happening. Okay, now it's something starts happening. The 120 bounces off me. Actually, I got 2 bounces right there. The 120's dead. I got hit in the optics, but luckily, no damage. T-57 doing something kind of dumb. Coming up the bottom part of the hill where he's pretty exposed. I was kind of hoping that would knock that house down, but no, it's a million armor house, I forgot. Some of the houses are non-destructible, which is a bunch of crap, but oh well, it is what it is, right? T-54, boom! Get out of my game. Get out of my game. So he's dead. Not a great idea to sit up there on the ridge like that. So I'm trying to just crawl up enough to spot, but I got no dice. This is a great spot for sniping. With 2 Arties, though, you do have to kind of move around a little bit, because if you get spotted right here, which it's not that hard to get spotted right here, you're going to get nuked. Because Artie can hit you for days right here. So I'm popping out a little bit out of my comfort zone here to try to get a shot on this guy. And didn't feel comfortable with any of those shots. Should have led him a little bit, but again, it's hard to tell what part is hidden because the silhouette is lit up even though that part of his tank is behind cover. So I'm thinking I can peg him right here. Just kind of waiting for him to actually be in a good spot to hit him with reliably. And that could have been good. It just didn't connect. The side of his turret especially would have been soft. And he stops. Ugh. And there we go. He's being slightly predictable here, and he gets killed. Not a great position to be in. That was not good positioning. So now I'm feeling all right about moving up a little bit because I think we have the hill. And definitely below the hill right there now that the T-57 is dead. So that mouse is moving up, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Let's skip ahead a little bit. These tier 10 games do get a little bit boring. Only got 5 minutes left. Now that he's moving up, I'm definitely okay to move up. They do have some big TDs that I need to be careful with. So I think my driver died as well. I healed up my driver too. Apparently he wanted to get out of the game. So this is a great ridge because I can shoot down all over here, and I can still hide behind these little hills when I can find one. Hold on, you'll see. This is really not one of them. This is decent because I'm pretty far away. So far, I can't even draw in the T-30. I'm outside of draw distance here. There's the Artie. And a Panther 2 is back there? Wow. Way to camp, dude. Right next to the Artie. That's Radby behind the Artie. That's a real man tank. So here's a little hill. If you take a peek at it right here, I should be fairly hull down. Yeah. Only my turret's sticking out, pretty much. And that's what you want to do. Now I'm just kind of waiting for people to spot. So the T-30 is going to pop out. Am I still in? I am. There we go. So he wasn't going as fast as I thought. Here we go. Here we go. That reload on the long 88. Pretty good. Pretty nice reload. And he's dead. It's nice to have that fast reload, especially when you miss a shot or you just track a guy or something. I don't know. Either of these is fine. The long 88 is nice as well. It actually, it's more accurate. So in that case, it's probably better, really. Just, you're going to have to try both, you know? Like, watch this shot. I only have a little bit of wiggle room there. Boom! Right on target. Dead center on the reticle. On that bullseye. Watch. And 2 shots. Dead on the bullseye. Okay? Oh, GW Tiger P. Bam! You're dead. That's not really a Tiger P. It's more like a GW Tiger, duh. So, that guy's out. Oh, Panther 2, do I have a shot? Nope. He's behind the building. Nope. And he's dead. T-44 kills him. So, really good game there. Showing you again kind of how to use this tank more as a support tank, especially in Tier 10 games. You can kind of just wait for the Tier 10s to do their work and kind of move up and give you opportunities to flank and stuff like that. So let me know what you think about this tank. It's decent. I didn't really like it that much. Not looking forward to the 4502B because it's a rear turret mounted tank, and I don't really like driving tanks like that. The mouse should be kind of fun just because I can't wait to drive that tank, even though it pretty much sucks since armor is pointless now and the gun is not very powerful. So anyway, let me know what you think about this tank. I'll see you guys later.